And we're back. Alright, so today I am going to show you how to make clay stamps. Now, come on, I know they're not the most fun thing in the world, but they are very practical. Artists use them to sign their pottery. For example, you can see this stamp right here on the bottom of this was made by the artists. This, by the way, is a 100-year-old incense burner from China. To this mug right here, the artist used a stamp to put their name. And also you can use these as decorations. For example, on this pot, little pieces of clay were added to the front and pressed in as a decoration. You can make them as coil stamps, which is what I'm going to show you first. And you can also do them like this. If you make them as a wheel stamp, you can make a continuous stamp that never ends for around the borders of your pots or mugs. And I think I usually make these worth bonus points for people that, extra credit for people that want to go ahead and do a little extra. But the project itself is very easy. The clay, when I get it from the distributor, comes in blocks that weigh 25 pounds like this. And what we're going to do is use a clay cutter like this, which is a wire between two wooden dowels, and you just pull it through the clay and you can slice off a piece of clay. Okay? We are not going to need this gigantic piece, so I'm going to cut the top of that off. The rest of this I'll cut back and wrap it up. Always give the block a twist and turn it upside down so it doesn't dry out. Then the clay that you have, believe it or not, even from the factory, it comes with little air bubbles inside of it, and we need to get them out because when we fire the clay condenses, and if there's any little air pockets in there, bubbles, the air pockets expand and will blow up your pot or blow a piece off. So to get rid of the air pockets, what we do is take the clay and using a cloth so it doesn't stick to the table, we just hit the clay like this. This compresses the clay and gets rid of all those little air pockets. So we'll do that. This is called wedging. It's very important. Like I said, it only takes a few seconds, and if you don't do it, your pot will blow up, which is never good. Okay. That's probably good. I don't need this big of a piece, and we'll cut top part off and get rid of this little chunk over there. I'll save that for later. And all we're going to do is roll this into a coil, tap the ends, and then what I found over the years is when you make coil stamps that are round, they roll and they typically roll off the table and break. So ideally what we're going to do is make a round one first, and then we'll tap it and get it squared off. That way it's not going to roll off the table. Okay, so we'll start off with a round one like this. I'm tapping the edges just so that they get flat, so we have an area that we can create our design on. Alright, get rid of all these little cracks. And then like I said, we don't want it to be round, so I'm just going to tap it, turn it, tap it. You get the idea. A rectangular shape is much more functional. And we're all about functionality in pottery glass. Okay. There we go. So I have the basic shape. It's not going to roll very easily now. It won't roll off the table. Now we can start to make our design. And if we take this chunk that we tossed aside, we can show you how some of these work. Okay? So, for example, here is a design that one of my students created, a sun. And if I take that and press it into the clay, it makes a little sun. So this is about as easy as you can get. You just take a needle tool, or one of these ballpoint pens actually works even better, and you just carve the design in. That's the first way. You can also draw a design and cut everything away except for the design. So here we have this flower, these 4 flower petals, and the student, once they drew it, they cut the space around the petals out. Okay, and if we kind of erase the clay here, I can show you how this kind of a stamp works. Okay. When we actually use this on our pottery, for a lot of these, it's better if you take off a little ball of clay like this and attach it onto whatever it is that you're adding this to, maybe the side of a mug, and then press the design into that little ball of clay like this. Gives you a little more 3D value, makes it stick out a little further, makes it look a little better, and it also helps prevent you from denting in the side of your mug when you're applying the stamp. So that's the basics of the coil stamp. I'm going to have you make a set of 2, and that way you'll have 4 stamps because each end is a functional stamp. I would like you to put your name on the front side. Please put your full first name and the first letter of your last name. Please don't put initials, because I get a lot of kids with the same initials, and it makes it difficult for me to figure out who you are. And put your grade. Okay? That way when I fire these, I can get them back to you real quick. That concludes clay stamps.